The CTA and I go back some 16 years. The world then had you seeing maps on your computer, but wasn't yet the live transit data on your phone situation that is the modern era. To use the term modern with the CTA at all is awkward because so much of the charm of the CTA is the historic phases of infrastructure and overall network philosophy. Whether the CTA needs to modernize and where deserves it is a topic removed from where should expansions go, and in what form. But maybe it's just all good enough as it is? The Skokie Swift, aka the Yellow Line of the L system, is the unlikely elephant in the room today. Less than 3 days after recording this footage, a Yellow Line run led by train 5599 would collide with a snowplow being utilized for a training operation here in the Howard Yard. 38 passengers were checked by first responders, with 23 being transported to hospitals for treatment, according to various media outlets reporting on the date November 16, 2023. But prior to this incident, the Skokie Swift had little in the way of newsworthy events, let alone accidents. The line is topping off its second decade of third rail electrification fully along the line, having opened up the fleet available for trains on the line between Chicago's northern boundary and Skokie, Illinois. Our early afternoon train was a two-car train that had a good number of fares. Wikipedia is presently citing Old Orchard Road as a potential extension point for the Yellow Line, but there's a lot of corridor potential up the line into the North Shore suburbs. It's been done in bigger and smaller cities, but surely in Chicagoland it will likely cost more.
as this train goes. All passengers must leave the train. Thank you for riding the CTA Yellow Line.
Similarly plotted north up the lake, the Evanston Express, aka the Purple Line, is living its purpose as both a commuter service and a neighborhood shuttle, alternating roles between rush and non-rush hour operations. As with the Yellow Line, the Purple Line utilizes former North Shore Line right-of-way and runs for a spell alongside Metra on its way towards Linden Station.
This is South Boulevard. This is Maine. This is Dempster. This is Davis.
Central Station remains largely unaltered from its days operated by the North Shore Line.
This is Linden, as far as this train goes. All passengers must leave the train. Thank you for riding the CTA Purple Line.
Linden is sleepy this early afternoon, so we'll buzz south back into the subways of Chicago.
Your safety is important. If you observe unattended packages, vandalism, or suspicious activity, inform CTA personnel immediately.
The State Street Subway and Dan Ryan branch of the Red Line are typically fast-paced, with somewhat frequent service. Effects of the past decade's facilities and trackbed modernization projects make for a generally livable transit system, bearing in mind that the south side of Chicago is the environment of which we speak. The North Side Main Line's northern section is now subject to modernization as stations are closed and commuters redirected to stations farther away in otherwise nice walkable neighborhoods. Getting more stations' capacity and overall aesthetics improved is gracious enough, but the right-of-way improvements will be the real investment in these Red Line projects, as the Dan Ryan branch saw a decade ago. One effect of the modernization is Brown Line trains have a more predictable frequency record with the new flyover onto the Ravenswood branch line in use outbound. North side aside, the L system is largely status quo in 2023. Metra is an accepted way of life in Chicagoland, the fare system accepted over the CTA and PACE networks, with Metra still a separate fare and pass structure. With the support of new Nova buses above and below, the L rambles into the 20s with the fervor it had 100 years ago. The system still works on old and new infrastructure, organized both the same as it was then and the same as it never was. New operations such as the Orange Line turning 30 years old, and serving Southside residents as well as Southwest Airlines passengers with a service outcome that ought to support the concept of new future services to neighborhoods and suburbs either unestablished or lapsed in their coverage within the Chicago rail network.
Transfer to green, purple, and brown line trains at Adams and Wabash. This is Adams and Wabash.
And at $5 a day, the value inherent to an all-day CTA pass is obvious for commuters and tourists. The system doesn't greatly utilize features like BRT and streetcars or trolleys in their connections. But everything in Chicago takes time and money, over and under tables, curtains, you name it. It's a process. I'm hopeful the CTA will remain faithful to its roots and aware of how crowded its trains and buses will get in the future. It's honestly a livable system, though, with most riders being of higher levels of decency than those in other Midwestern transit systems. It's still worth taking the L in 2023. Park your car a few counties away and get yourself to Chicago, even if only to get somewhere else. Like, share, and subscribe this video. We're not done with Chicago transit topics, but that's going to wrap up this jam as far as we go today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.